Hi.
Hey,
Hi, Chris.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for willing to do this.
Of course. It's my first one. So, I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to do with these things.
Well, have you been asked before for
Uh,
anything else?
no, no, not yet.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
this is my. Hmm.
I figured in this, like how I told you, that it can be pretty casual. Like I'm not going to be the only one leading things. We can just ask each other stuff if you want to ask me anything too. So,
Okay, cool, cool.
but do you wanna do you wanna go by Henny or
Um, yeah, I guess that's cool. I mean, my name is Kevin. I know your real name is Chris, so
yeah?
I guess you can call me Kevin for
Okay.
this. Yeah, that's chill. You know, um, yeah, I do like the nickname Henny though, because it does not sound like my real name at all. You know, I
Cool.
like that a lot.
You get the idea for it.
What for the name King Henny?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, it's like a convoluted kind of story because and like, Drag Race.
Yeah.
You've heard, yeah. So, you know how they always say like, oh, Henny, like instead of honey?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so they say Henny a lot instead of honey. But when my friends would always say like, "Oh, Henny, shut up," I'd be like, "Oh, Henry, like, stop." So I would always change Henny to Henry in my brain. And then I don't know, I was just like talking to my one friend and I was like, I kind of want a new name for my Instagram. And uh we thought it was funny that just like King Henny, just like King Henry the Eighth, but make it gay. That's really it. There's no like deep story. People ask me all the time if it's like, oh, like King Hennessy, um,
Oh,
which I
I
didn't
wouldn't have
even
thought.
realize. Yeah, yeah. But no, it's just zesty King Henry, I guess.
Does
Yeah.
it cross over in real life too, or no?
What do you mean?
Like, do people your friends would just call you Kevin or?
Yeah, like it's like more of like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If someone in my real life, like at work or like friends or family, like IRL, if they say like, "Oh, it's Henny," like they're saying like, "I see what you do online," you know. Um, but mostly it's just Kevin. Like the nickname is purely for the internet. And honestly, once I remember I got on Instagram 2 years ago. Like I was like, doing a lot of like soul searching and healing and decided to just start posting again. I was like, I haven't posted a selfie in like 6 years. It was like a long time where I was just like kind of
Oh, well,
not visible on the internet at all. Yeah. And so I was like, let me start posting again. It was kind of like get out my comfort zone. Let me like show my face, to my 500 Instagram followers, like just like stragglers from college and random IRL friends. And I like posted like my first post and people were like, "Oh, it's nice to see you again." And then I was like, "Oh, I should change my name. I've had this name since like college." And then like I changed my name. And then literally the moment I changed my name to that, my selfie started like flying to the explore page and I was like getting a ton of Instagram followers. So I kind of coincide like a lot of Instagram growth and anything on the internet strictly to like the name change, honestly.
hmm.
So,
What was the reason why you were on a break from social media for so long?
oh, girl. This, um, I was, I felt, like I'm sober now. Just over
Okay.
2 years sober now. And, it was my like drug use or alcohol use, it was never that bad, but it kind of got to this like weird place in my mid 20s where I just kind of felt like I was just going to work, just coming home, like just functioning the day with waking up, smoking weed, half a pack while I work, have a drink after work. It was like this kind of like self-medicating of just like I'm going about my day very in like a very numb fashion. And that was when I was isolating myself. And then also when I started to like get sober and then go to therapy and stuff, I was still like very like I'm in a big healing phase. It was kind of like this. I noticed that I was kind of on a path that could go bad. And I was like, let me get back on track. And I said, let's not let's not post thirst traps and do any of that bullshit in the meantime. I was like, let me really focus on myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that just in the fact that I've always been sober and I frequently go out to. I'm pretty heavily involved in the drag scene where I am, and I'm at clubs every weekend, but I still don't ever engage in anything like
Yeah.
substance wise. So,
Hey, I mean, that's good. I had to really like learn in therapy. There was like a lot of, there's just like so many weird stigmas with anything like that. You have like people being like, oh, well, if it's addictive, why'd you even try it? Or like all these like weird kind of like, I don't know, harsh stigmas around any use. But I really had to like learn in therapy to like be completely okay with like whatever I did to survive to this point.
mhm.
That was huge. So I'm like now I'm like, oh, I'm glad I like, spent a bunch of time alone and, wasted fucking money on like way too much weed and shit, because it's definitely shaped me in a way that I really appreciate nowadays, you know. Like if
Do you, s-
you, huh?
oh, I was going to ask, are you really involved in the club scene where you are then, or not as much?
Um, I feel like I'm like in the fringe of it. I know everyone that's in stuff.
Right.
Like I can get a list on a place easy. Even back in like college and stuff, like I was always like hanging out with people that were DJs and throwing parties, and I was always in bands in high school and college and stuff. So the idea of like entertainment or event spaces was always somewhere where I was, which probably helped with the like availability of like substances and stuff. But yeah, yeah, I've always been in like the scenes and around all like entertainers, musicians, artists, stuff like that.
What kind of bands have you been in?
I was I was very emo, very
Oh, fun.
sad teen. Yeah, very I was very MySpace. I was very like acoustic guitar, pop punk, emo kid, you know, spider bite piercings and like hair in my face and like like writing songs about heartbreak even though I never dated anybody. I was just like deeply in the closet. And that was just the fuel for all like the heartbreak songs. It's like no one gets me. um yeah, and then I got a little older and I started really experimenting with music. It was interesting. I was very like just like scene kid, like pop punk emo girl. And then after I came out when I was 19, I found myself being like, oh, I want to like go anywhere, listen to any type of music, hang out with any type of person, and it kind of like flipped my world upside down. I was very like I went from just like, no, I'm in the scene, I'm like going to Warped Tour, I have my hair in my face, like that's it, to like I'm down to go anywhere. And I kind of went on like a big journey in my like late teens and early 20s of just like experimenting and going places.
What do you think inspired you to come out then?
Uh,
Finally.
I, girl, I remember I was in college and I was like, actually, I could tell this. I could give you the real answer to that question. What inspired me to come out? Girl, so I was in like an apartment situation. It just like was not working. Sophomore year, we were friends freshman year, but once sophomore year came around, we were no longer friends. We were no longer vibing.
Yeah.
So I had to like find a sublet halfway through. And I was like, I need to get out, right? the only person that I could find was my friend's friend. So I didn't know this person. My friend was just like, "Oh, my friend's looking for a place. Let me just set you two up. You guys can go get an apartment, right?" So we get an apartment and we literally meet like a week before we like would sign it and move in together. You know, it was very quick college campus stuff. And I remember when I first met this kid, I was like, "Oh, he's so hot!" Like he like outrageously like really hot, and I was like, "This is gonna be a huge problem." I was like, I need to get out of this really toxic apartment with these people I do not click with anymore." But this person that I don't know, who's just gonna be a very casual roommate, I was like, "He's really hot." And going through school, not wanting to do school, but then also being like, God, dude, like my roommate's kind of hot, and it's like kind of like knocking at my brain, like you're gay. You're. It was like a constant reminder. I ended up dropping out. I ended up coming out, and it like released all this like pent up pressure. And he ended up being like just like a really really good straight friend, ally, homie.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, yeah, yeah, yeah. No crazy story like that. But I was just like, it was just having someone there constantly reminding me that I was in the closet. I was like, oh, it's just like I gotta like get this off my chest, you know?
Hmm. Have you also, because I know it's different with bear bear type guys where they're either usually only into other bears or they're into everybody like outside of bears.
Right, right. Yeah, there's a lot of bear for bear for sure. Um, yeah, what's your question about that? I guess
Well,
I could.
have you always mainly been into other bears too, or not really?
For the most part, I did find a certain comfort in other bears that um wasn't necessarily like afforded to you because like even when you hook up with like a skinny guy, he could always just like if he wants to like snap at you and call you a fat fuck, like he's got that bullet like loaded. You know what I mean? Like not that
Yeah,
everyone's like that, but like there's
yeah,
still as much as like oh we're all in the community because we're gay, but then inside the community there's like a lot of people that are like ew you're fat. So like there's a lot of just like positive reinforcement with other bears. There's a comfort that it's like oh we've been through this like we've been bullied in the same way, you know
right.
that's really I think that's just the only like true reason for more bear for bear stuff. It's just like we really do feel safer with each other like that, you know. But no, I find myself to be a little pretty fluid throughout. If I look at like my whole timeline and what I found myself who I found myself gravitating towards and when and stuff, it's very interesting. I came out of the closet and then I ended up hooking up with a girl
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, so it was just like I don't know, I just have I guess like it's for me a lot of the labels have always just been ways to kind of like pop the balloon or like release the pressure, on myself to just kind of do whatever I want, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think before like I was never the type of person when I was in the closet, I didn't necessarily like pretend to be straight, but I wouldn't allow myself to be as gay as I wanted. Obviously, that's like what the closet means, you know?
Yeah.
But like to the extent where I didn't even know what I liked or like what my interests truly were as a teen growing up, you know? I really had to like come out and let it all out. And then I went to like self-discovery mode for myself.
Hmm. How long have you been married?
I'm not actually married. I'm not
Oh,
actually married yet. I do call my partner my husband. Right now though. We've been together for um almost 2 years now, and we are madly in love and really incredible for each other. But that's so funny. Yeah, I think you said like, "Oh, how's your husband?" And I thought you
yeah.
like were in on it. But no, we talk to each other all the time. We always mention like, "Oh, like we're gonna marry each other, right?" And we're just like, "Yep, 100%. No no cold feet at all."
That's good.
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. It's really crazy. And then we both knew the moment we met each other, which is really sweet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to. Um, I know I mentioned this in the Discord a little bit ago, but it's hard to navigate the gay scene in that kind of context, just with monogamy and
Oh yeah,
non-monogamy and all
yeah, yeah.
that.
I know. I feel like so much of it is truly like strategy of like surviving the fucking food chain or like the jungle. You know what I mean? Like it's because um the funny thing about me and my partner is that we both found each other when neither of us were looking. We both were on some like I don't need no man right now. I was on like I was like newly sober. I was like in therapy. I was, finally taking an SSRI and like just every day was like, oh, every day's so lit. And like I was in, struggling with like depression, anxiety for so long. And then I was just like, oh, I'm just like gonna hang out with whoever I want. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And I was really on that vibe like hard. And so was he. And then the moment we met each other, we both were just like, wait, maybe, it's funny because we both say like, oh, like, yeah, we're open. Like we'll let each other do anything, but then we both just like want to scurry home and cuddle each other, you know? Like we have that option open, but we find ourselves very attached and we live like monogamous people, even though we say that we are open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I could give advice, but that's just how it happened for me and where I'm at.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What was your reaction like when you did start getting um, a lot of, I don't know what the word is. Well, I guess just attention on social media for the kind of pictures that you post.
For my just like random selfies and my shirtless because I was doing like I started going out in the scene after getting sober, which is so funny. I was like using and like using substances or drinking and stuff, but I wasn't going out and being social. I was just like using those to like
Oh,
unwind after work and shit. So like I finally started really going out in the scene again after getting sober. So I was like, what am I gonna do to like while everyone's out there drinking? Like, what can I do? So I like made a couple like outfit videos for Instagram. I was just like, I'm gonna wear this look and I'm gonna make a little, video, and I would like record stuff as I was out, and that was like kind of a way to have something in my hand, not a drink. You know what I mean? I was like always just like, oh, like take a selfie, like just being very like social media. Let's like, post this, and yeah, it was all really insane. It was a really crazy year to go from like 500 followers to 30K because it was just like, oh, I uh I don't know, I was really scared to post my a picture of myself again after being so isolated for so long. And then seemed to just garner a lot of attention and you know what I mean? Like it was just like shocking, truly.
yeah.
Oh.
I also know what it's like just because the way a lot of people nowadays think that the reason why I have so many followers is because of the interview stuff, but it's because in high school I was like one of those Tumblr boys. So I got viral just for posting pictures like that.
No, for real?
Yeah.
I probably have seen that. Yo, wait. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Elaborate. What did you post? Was it just
It was
like
just like
e-boy
it was like
shit? Like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, e-boy Tumblr shit. Okay.
If you go all the way down to my Instagram, I still have all those pictures up too.
Oh my God, I'm gonna do that the moment I'm off this Zoom. I can't wait. That's awesome. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, that's it. Like, it's funny. I actually just went to an event in New York last weekend, and a couple of people that like knew me from Instagram and stuff, but they were like, "Oh, you're like the video game guy," and that was the first time I ever got that at
Oh,
like
cool.
a gay space, and I was like, oh, like I've been, busting my ass for a year streaming all the time. And like I'm starting to see people be like, oh, you're the video game guy. Not just like I think I saw you on Instagram, or I think, like are you single? Do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of like e-boy chasers? I don't know what that would be called, but
Yeah, I mean, you know how I don't know if it's the case for everybody too, but like on something like Scruff, where a lot of the people that reach out to you don't live by you, and
anywhere
then
near you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and just like a bunch of fetishizing, just like based on how you look.
Yeah, yeah. Look, someone just recently asked me if I was game for pay.
Yeah, yeah,
Which didn't know was a thing. And I was just like, nope, just very naturally a fat fuck, I guess. Like, just some fat guy from Philly, like eating cheesesteaks. That's it. Never got paid to gain for pay. I thought that was so funny. Oh
yeah,
man. Yeah, the fetishization stuff is strange. I was just I don't want to like dish too much, but like at the event I was just at, some guy was like, "Oh, you really like remind me of my partner before he started losing all that weight." And like he was like, "Can I hug you?" And he was like being like really like he was kind of telling me he's like not into his partner anymore because his
oh,
partner is like losing weight and stuff. And I was like, I literally like froze up and was kind of like just being like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll give you a hug." And then my partner clocked it and like came and rescued me. But like, yeah, there's the fetishization stuff is so strange to me. I feel like because I spent like 6 years isolated, there's been this just whole like everyone's was still going with their developments and like the culture has continued. You know what I mean? I feel like I really tapped out of everything, and now I'm back, and it's just like everyone's on some gainer shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like drinking milkshakes and shit. I'm just like, what happened? I feel like I was in a time machine.
yeah. That's one reason why. Well, I guess it's not really related to that specifically, but I don't go to the Eagle where I am unless I know other friends are going because I'm always literally the only twink at the Eagle.
Right, right, right.
So it just
Mm.
feels weird.
No, I get that. I get that. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I'm very lucky to live in Philly because there's some really good, like, just queer scenes. Like,
Hmm.
there's definitely, like, nights at places where you can go and it's just like, oh, there's, like, um, trans people, bi people, diversity of, like, all different types of people. And it's just, that's really refreshing to me. I feel like really comfortable at places like that because it's like people don't like cruise at places like that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like I'm not really too like into that. I like to be like a little flirty here and there, but like full on like cruising. Like when I go to like we have the bike stop in Philly. It's like
Okay.
very similar to the Eagle. We don't have our own Eagle, but it's the same thing. It's very like you walk in and people are just like instantly eyeing you up to see if they would or wouldn't. you know
Yeah.
it's just very that's like on the front of everyone's mind, and you can feel it when you walk into a place like that. um which is fun and fine if you're into that. It's all good, no shame you know
Yeah. Do the clubs that you go to over there have things like monthly fetish nights? Because that's what happens here.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. There's a Vice night where like all the pups go out. There's my girl Gina actually throws like a soft leather like goth night. So
Okay.
like yeah, if you want to like get down with like different fetishes or like different stuff like that, there's definitely space and places for that for sure, you know.
It's
But
also uh it's also different for me too because I've always been, at least so far, I've always been more of a pretty romantic vanilla person.
aw, oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's different than I mean, several of my closest friends that I'm just platonic with. I mean, if most people, I mean, most guys I meet are kinkier than I am, which is fine. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. All that stuff's very interesting because I feel like before I got sober, I was like Yeah, like I'm down with that shit. And I would like go to events or like go to nights like that and try to partake in it, even if it didn't fully click with me, you know?
Hmm.
And now that I'm sober, I'm very much just like, oh, like, I it might be basic, but I'm on my like freak in the sheets, like lady in the sheets kind of thing, you know? I'm very like keep it at home. It's like I appreciate it being like a more like a private thing, you know?
Hmm.
Um, which is like why I honestly wanted to start building the community I'm building. I feel like there's a lot of like just like straight up like goon spaces on the internet. There's just like a lot of not safe for work queer spaces online. Like it's all very just like if this is your kink, join this Discord or like follow this page and like let's all make these jokes or like let's all talk about
Yeah.
this way. And every time I like would try to like find a space, it would still have like touches of like um people trying to, sexualize or fetishize. So I was like, if I if I make my own community, it could be very just like, we're gonna talk about gaming and art and music and food, and like actual um things other than sex.
Hmm.
It's yeah. That was like a big focus when I first started streaming actually.
How long have you had the Discord server?
I probably like 2 months into streaming. um I remember Drew was just like, "Oh, you definitely should get a Discord." And I remember we were like setting it up, and he was like, "And you want no not safe for work at all?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want it to be like, I want it to be super chill. I want people to come and talk about video games. Not, like the meme that's like, they're like, oh, just got a new game on the Switch, but they're like, their whole is to the camera and they're holding like the
Yeah.
Switch, like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like, I didn't want it to really be that either. I didn't want it to be like gaming masquerading, you know, to kind of like still include like a hypersexuality. Like, I just wanted a place that was like super chill.
Hmm.
And so that's been the goal. And it's been like, I think it's been like 10 months with the Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it anybody that you know personally too, or is it all online
All
connections?
internet. Oh no, I definitely, it's so funny because so I started like, I have IRL friends that have like made their way in there. Um, but it's interesting. There's a lot of people I've met on Instagram after like my selfies were like getting shared everywhere. I was like, oh hey, like meeting people, like how you doing and stuff. And I guess they're just like other people in similar places as me, where you just like have a bunch of people just like kind of, lusting and thirsting, and they found like a safe space to come and like hang out and just actually like, talk about the shit they like that's not, you know, overtly sexual.
Hmm.
I feel like I sound so like prudy or like just like
No.
I need a moment away from all the dick, Like I literally can't open fucking blue sky in public, Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is well, this is probably an obvious question too, but do you think that you've became more body confident from the attention that you always get, like reaction wise to your stuff?
yeah, for sure. It was a simultaneous like it's interesting. Like I definitely like I was always self-conscious about my body. And looking back at like, if I look at pictures from high school or college, I'm like, oh, I was not fat at all, even though I, you know, was like really hard on myself for like always like calling myself that. Um, but now at like the most I've ever weighed and stuff is like, yeah, I'll post a shirtless pic. I don't care. A video of me making bread shirtless. It really is like this simultaneous push of like, oh, I would never do this before, so I'm just gonna do it, and then getting positive reinforcement. It's kind of like I had to make the jump, and then I feel like I get like caught with like some good vibes by people.
Yeah.
And now it's just at a point where I'm definitely the most comfortable I've been with my body for sure. You know. Yeah, I guess so. It's I guess it is really good, you know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now about the like body positivity and the thin line between fetishization. You know, there's
Yeah.
just a thin line between those two things, you know, that's all. But it has been really good. Mostly positive. Very little negativity, honestly.
Yeah. I think that was honestly what I think I found your page probably just from how like a lot of people find it from one of your selfies on the explore page. But
Right.
uh
That's awesome. Okay.
yeah, and I think some people think this is silly to say too, but even sometimes when I struggle with my own body image and not liking how my body looks, a lot of my bear friends or like bears that I see on the internet or whatever, like that actually makes me feel better about myself, and like their confidence helps inspire me a lot
Oh,
too.
I see.
Yeah.
Just kind of like reinforcement and just seeing like big guys being like, yeah, like, you know, whatever you're dealing with and calling yourself and struggling with, it's like, well, there's this guy who's like, you know, 400 pounds with his shirt off. Like, I'm sure it
Right.
is just like, you know, oh, okay, like we can all just like throw bullshit out the window. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel the same way, you know. I love to see it. Like the way it used to be like so difficult for me to even into adulthood to like take my shirt off at a pool, but now you know, I'm answering the door shirtless. Like if I'm, you know what I mean? Like if I'm ordering like takeout or whatever, like I do not care anymore. You know,
That's
I
great.
definitely feel like I freed myself from that. And I definitely attribute that to like all the positive reinforcement. Like I remember I was in Europe last year. I bought a Speedo and I was terrified to wear it, one, and I was terrified to like post a picture of it. But I was doing this thing where like I learned in therapy if I'm fucking terrified of it and it's just something simple like taking a picture and it doesn't harm anybody, you know what I mean? Like then I need to dive headfirst and do it. And once I do it, I'll feel a lot better. And yeah, so the fact that I like at one of my highest weights posted a speedo pic, you know, like if you told me that 3 years ago, I'd been like, you're out of your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when I was like hiding from the world. I like can't even fathom um putting myself out there in that way and to like the degree that I've done it in the past 2 years. It's wild, actually. Yeah.
So you kind of touched on it just a little bit ago, but were you back in high school or whatever, were you a twink before, or like were you
Was
not?
I, you know what's so funny? No, I was always giving chubby not otter because I was always pretty tall. I actually just like logged into my Facebook for the first time in like 13 years yesterday and saw all these pictures from like high school and college and I was looking at them and I was like I was so much thinner than I thought I was, you know? Like I wouldn't say that I was twink. I would definitely give like cub, but like skinny cub. Like it wasn't even like I don't
Okay.
know, because I was tall, you know, so I was always like over 6 foot when it came to like after the end of high school. And yeah, I don't know. It's I wouldn't call myself skinny, but I looking back, I'm like, I should have never called myself fat for sure. You know, like that's all I can say is that I had severe body dysmorphia for sure.
Mhm.
Down. Okay. But, you know, I think a lot of people deal with that.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like 6'2" or something? How tall are you?
I'm closer to 6'3".
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And people say that my proportions give 5'3". which is tea, that's fine. I love a short king, I really do. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty tall, I'm pretty big. Like I remember I was at like where I think I was at just like the store with my dad recently, and I looked up at like the security cam. You know how you can like see yourself at a different angle, and like me next to this like little old man next to me, I looked like it was insane the comparison. I truly was like, oh, I'm that big. Like, I don't even like know if I realize how big I am sometimes. But yeah, pretty big. Big guy. Big guy
Well,
over here.
yeah, well, I was just gonna say that maybe it's just the vibe that you give off. I didn't think. I thought maybe you were like 5'9" or something.
Everyone says that, man. Everyone really says that. I do think it's like proportions. I think I give Meatball energy. I give Snooki kind of, honestly. Um yeah, dude, every person I meet off the internet, if like I see them at a bar, if I see them at an event, they're just like, "Oh." And
Yeah,
yeah, it's hilarious. Literally every fucking person I've ever met from the internet in real life has said, "Oh, I thought you were going to be shorter. Oh, I thought you were like really short." Yeah, it's 100% accuracy rate. Everyone thinks I am short king for
mhm.
sure. Yeah.
So I know you said on your stream when I popped in a little bit ago that you're not much of an anime person, but what are the stuff that you are into?
No, I was so scared you were gonna ask this. Honestly, I was so fucking scared you were gonna ask this, girl. Because the one of the shows that I've always said that I really liked, and this was before when it was like only the first two seasons were out, but like Attack on Titan really got me into anime. And isn't that one that's like not like it's like okay, like you're into the anime that like everyone's heard of. Like, you have
That's
I
fine
haven't
though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I loved it. I also what is it? Delicious in Dungeon. I've
Yeah,
recently partaken in. Um I started Dan to Dan. I recently I'm trying to get back into. I have friends that tell me a bunch that I need to watch, but I grew up with literally the Pokemon Morning Show.
right. Yeah.
So I would definitely give that as my like top anime because I truly remember like my mom would let us be like 10 minutes late for school so we could watch like both episodes from 7 to 8. Even though we were supposed to be at school by 8, we would always show up at like 8:10 because she would like let us finish watching, which was really cute.
Mhm. Well, I feel that's a pretty common through line though. I mean, there's so many gay men that aren't really into anime that love Pokemon. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah. I yeah, I wonder if it's just like I don't know. I didn't have like a big anime phase, but I was like obsessed with Final Fantasy games growing up.
okay,
Which isn't anime, but it is still, some
that's
Japanese
adjacent.
art. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of I think where I like gaming really it is like was my main focus. It's not like I was like growing up watching a lot of TV period. I really wasn't like um watching much TV. I spent a lot of time playing video games growing up. So that's always been my thing, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was the Final Fantasy franchise the only kind of anime adjacent game series that you got into?
Well, I mean, like, if you're just saying like Japanese stuff, like obviously huge Nintendo head growing up.
Mhm.
Like every single like from Nintendo to Super Nintendo to 64 to GameCube, like the entire lineage of Nintendo, I we had growing up, and it definitely shaped me a lot. It was yeah, so there's just like a ton of adjacent energies because I feel like a lot of people that like anime, of course there's like huge Nintendo fandom, like huge Pokemon fandom, the just Zelda in general, huge.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was always in those spaces, like right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know you would have seen it in the Discord, but pretty most of my tattoos are from Fire Emblem. if you know
Right, right.
where home is.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yes, yes. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I like I always wanted to get an Espeon tattoo.
you still
And
can.
I still of course I still can and I plan on it, you know. But how many tattoos do you have?
7.
7? That's nice. Yeah, I only have 2 right now, but it's a hard thing for me to commit. Are you at that place where you're just like, I'm gonna get like this random one and I don't care?
No, all the ones that I have, they all, even though they're all like character stuff, they all have like sentimental meaning.
Just like very important. Okay, okay, yeah. That's like my struggle. I feel like I'm like, does it mean enough to me to get it blasted on my skin, you know? I don't know. I always like kind of envy the people that are just like, I'm gonna get, you know, whatever. Like my friend has a fucking needle and a cup of ink and he's gonna stab me, you know? Like people getting stick and pokes at like their friends' parties and shit. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought about getting the Squirtle Squad as well.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, because the people kept calling me, people were DMing me that I look like Squirtle because I posted uh me
That
in
picture.
that picture with the sunglasses and the
Yeah,
Speedo, and people were like, "You look like Squirtle Squad." And
yeah.
yeah, and I was very close to just getting that tattoo because I thought that was so funny. But yeah.
I do remember I think it was around the time I discovered your account was when you were making all those videos speaking Chinese for Red Note.
Wait, really?
I think so, yeah.
That recent, Chris? Really?
Yeah, or at least,
I think.
or I think that was when I like started looking at your account more. I know that I saw your pictures a lot sooner
Oh,
than
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, so I actually like went so hard onto Red Note for a good month because when TikTok got banned, I was one of the only people to also delete the app off my phone.
yeah.
So I deleted the app off my phone and I everyone was like, "Oh, it's already back." And then but the legislation that passed was to ban it from the App Store. So I could not retrieve this application and get it back on my phone. So I was without TikTok and I was, I post on Instagram, but I don't really like scrolling Instagram too much. Like I'm more of like a TikTok scroller. So I downloaded Red Note and I was just like doing like fucking before Duolingo went AI, I was doing like Mandarin on Duolingo and trying to like learn phrases and I was just like getting a hardcore dose of reality from the way Chinese people live life and how much propaganda fucking Americans get fed. It was insane. Great time. That's so funny. That's so recent that that's when you stopped over. Interesting. I don't know why I thought you were in the community longer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess when you made those videos, that definitely stood out from like nobody else is doing things like that too.
Yeah, because I hopped on that app and I was like learning a lot about just like how they how like you think like a lot of I don't want to like get like too deep about like fucking foreign policy or like a foreign government, but like I just realized a lot of stuff that I was fed was bullshit. And so I was like, these people on Reno are awesome. Like I was having a blast and I was like, I just wanted to like out of respect, like learn how to say a few things and if I was gonna post on there, like include subtitles for both English and Mandarin, shit like that. Just out
Mm.
of respect, it really wasn't like I don't know. They kept calling me what is it?
The
The
Bull Demon
demon.
King.
Yeah, the Bull Demon King, dude. Fucking Wukong's brother. That was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, after TikTok comes back, I like very rarely go on Red Note now, unfortunately. I get DMs on there all the time. I got like 10K followers in like 2 days or something crazy on there because I learned how to say fuck. They were like fucking Bull Demon Kings cursing. Everyone, look at this. Fucking We have an American fucking saying "Wotsa," which is so funny.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I know you still title your Twitch stream sometime "Big Man, No Wife." I think that's really funny.
big man, no wife. Yeah, because when I first got on Red Note, that's a sign of just like how brainwashed I of an American I was. I like got on Red Note and was like, "Can I say that I'm gay?" And then so I put big man, no wife, which is fucked. Which is fucked. But then as I scroll, I literally scroll for like 5 minutes, and I just see like, you know, a lesbian being like, "Yeah, I'm a lesbian," and like, queer people exist in China. That's propaganda. And I was just like scrolling, like, oh, like my mind was blown. Like, so that's so funny. Big man, no wife. I can't believe it.
I was surprised that you didn't get that you didn't move on to YouTube sooner too.
Move on to yeah. I mean, well, it's interesting. I still have like I still have uh like desires to do other stuff as well, but I still feel like I'm like kind of cultivating
Hmm.
like that stuff. Like this is the first time I'm ever just like, well, we're sitting and talking for, you know, 40 minutes and we're just kind of like bullshitting, and then you're just gonna like post that. That's awesome. But since my first like entrance to real like content creation was streaming games, I was like, oh, then let me just like throw my like VODs up on YouTube. But
Yeah.
I recently made that video on for Easter, the Jesus Plays
Yep.
the Jesus Christ simulator, and putting like a Jesus wig on and getting into like Jesus drag to then play a simulated game. That was so much fun for me to just like kind of like bullshit and improv lines and you know, I had a stint, in high school as like a theater kid, so like I truly like, there's a part of me that really enjoys like a performing like that other than just gaming.
Hmm.
But we're still getting there for sure. I'm sure
Yeah.
more is to come. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't even seem for me. It doesn't seem like it's been 5 years that I've been doing this.
You've been
Um.
doing this for 5 years?
Yeah.
That's sick. And you fucking honestly just like give it up.
Oh.
We're gonna give it
Thanks.
up. Yeah, we're gonna I, thank you. We're gonna give it up. That's fucking so cool. Like, I remember when you like were hopping in the Discord and being like, oh yeah, like I like collect random memorabilia from like pilot pitches and like initial sketch ideas or like and you're like I interview voice actors and it's just like a focus on an industry and a focus on just a craft that is really fucking cool and unique and you just are like I'm doing my thing and I like what I like and I'm gonna like interview people that I want to interview and say what's up to and just talk with. It's fucking awesome, honestly. It's really cool. I was so nervous before this. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to say. And you've
No,
talked to fucking like people that I watch on YouTube and Twitch and shit. Like, that's crazy.
yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, people, um, especially people around our age, there's a lot of big name people that don't like doing interviews just because of the whole, like, I don't like talking about myself or I just get nervous thing. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I definitely encounter it a lot, but um, I've been fortunate enough where, because a lot of the people I've talked to, like bigger name people I talk to, they don't really do interviews with like independent outlets usually.
Right.
So I think I got really lucky starting when COVID shut everything down. Uh, th-
True.
there wasn't really anybody else doing what I was doing specifically on the internet.
Right.
Yeah,
And everyone was like Zoom ready.
right.
No, yeah. So it felt like it was like, oh, this is how they would do like a major press tour. It would just be a Zoom call with someone with their own little lighting setup. Like
Yeah.
it was truly the same thing. That's awesome. Yeah, it's fucking cool.
And
Did you like, oh,
what were you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, did you always like know you were? gonna interview people, like, do you yourself want to voice act? Is that why? Is that part of the admiration, or is it? Are you is your passion the interview process, and you're like, and I gotta talk to these voice actors, you know? You know what I'm
It's
saying?
funny. Yeah, it's funny you say that because it was voice acting was my dream job for a while. I guess it still sort of is. And I did go to school for it here after I graduated high school.
Okay.
Um, but once I started interviewing voice actors, that kind of just um, overtook it, I guess, because I feel there's a lot of people that don't know how the industry works and don't know how voice acting, how involved it is. Um,
Right.
so yeah, and then being able to do it for things like Genshin Impact and um, the Fire Emblem franchise, and
Wait, you did?
yeah, ever since like 2021, I've been regularly doing people that are out of the Genshin, and I'm like the only person on the internet that's doing it, which is
Wait,
crazy. Yeah,
that's insane.
yeah,
That's awesome. Dude, hell
thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird when there's things that have really big fan bases that can be really toxic, but I've never been on the brunt of that. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Yeah. Just gay people in general can be toxic. So I get it. Yeah.
yeah,
I was shocked to receive kindness, you know.
yeah.
I was telling Biker this. It's like getting on the internet is so scary, yo. Like you just don't like you've seen people's chats, especially gaming. I was like, I'm really gonna like log on, be visible, and game. Like any 12-year-old can just come in and be like, you're fucking trash. You know what I mean? Like just absolutely just be so mean and so rude, you know? And I was horrified of it, which is so funny. But no, it's honestly there's like a lot of good love and support on the internet, which is shocking.
Mhm.
And I realized that after I started sharing, I feel like before I was sharing, you're kind of in this like observation, like voyeur window of just like you're just seeing opinions and you have it affects your mood and then all this stuff. But when you're sharing and when you're posting, it's a lot more just like I don't know, like I feel a lot more like freer and I have a better time on the internet being physically on the internet streaming myself than I do like scrolling or something, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but that's something I've realized recently.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. When I started this, I always wanted it to have a visual element too, because I think there's enough podcasts and interview stuff that is just audio only on the internet. Um,
Right.
and at least I've found with voice actor stuff, people want to see what the real person looks like behind the characters.
Right, right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what is your opinion on women? Because I'm a high value man. No, that's like insane to think about. Like we've just been sitting here talking about like, I don't know, just like shit, you know, about our gay little lives, and people hop on the internet and they talk like that. That
Right.
blows my mind, bro. That's crazy. Man, this is so much better than all that bullshit. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my God.
Have you? And you probably get this a lot, but have you always laughed the way you do?
Yes. God damn it, dude. Literally, you mentioned you make fun of it all the time. I think people like have said like, oh, like you really make yourself laugh and that makes me laugh, you know?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm actually funny, but I my entire life people have just you scream, right? I would get that. I would just be like laughing along with friends, just oh, we're laughing, you know. And someone will just like pull me aside and be like, you scream when you laugh, right? Like my whole life. So yes, I've always laughed like this. I was always really loud. Um, I get shushed a lot if I start laughing. I've gotten shushed. Yeah. Even this weekend, I was in a hotel room with my partner and I started cracking up about something. He was like, "Could you be quiet?" He's like, we're in a hotel. He's like, someone's gonna call the front desk on us because you're screaming, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, my whole life.
When did the like Trixie laugh comparisons start?
The Trixie laugh comparisons, the seagull bird call. I don't know. I just remember like first watching and like first seeing like them crack up like that. I was just like I was like, I'm not the only one, you know. Some people fucking scream when they laugh, you know. That's it. That's really it, you know.
Yeah.
And any of like my girlfriends or like gay friends, you know, would always joke about that I sound a bit like Trixie, you know. Um, but only when I laugh, you know. Only when I'm screaming my face off at something.
What is the I think you did mention a little bit ago what other ideas do you have for your own like content?
Right. Well, again, I mean, I spent years like writing songs,
Oh, right.
playing instruments, and then in my 20s, which was kind of part of like the isolation period. I was making a lot of electronic music alone on my computer, like teaching myself how to produce and synthesize and mix and stuff. DJing. I In high school, I wanted to go to college for screenwriting and playwriting. I had like a bit of like a theater, you know, phase, theater kid moment. So a lot more of like performing things like that. Like I would love to DJ at a club. Like I would love to just like, you know, and I know I could probably just, you know, hit up a bar, be like, hey, I'm gonna start promoting a party, DJ, would love to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I want to do a lot more like funny stuff for my YouTube channel. Right now, it's just I feel like it's me like giving like funny commentary, funny reaction, but like in the vein of my Jesus drag, I want to kind of go in that direction and see what other drag characters I could kind of come up with and do. You know, one idea I'm already planning is there's a game that's a flight attendant simulator where you
Yeah.
literally are just a flight attendant, but I want to dress up as a flight attendant and I want to kind of just exist as a flight attendant playing a flight attendant simulator. I think that's a really funny idea. I think it's a really funny idea to be like dressed as and kind of channeling the character of the thing that I'm playing a sim of. You know, it's kind of it's a little double layered, like a double stuffed Oreo. Like it's a little, you know. I think that would be so fun. Do you know the United Emirates? You know
Yeah.
Emirates? You know the steward the flight attendants they have like a really cunty hat and like a little
Yeah.
like kind of half hijab looking thing. It's like red with like a little white like sash. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm I'm trying to do that while I play Flight Attendant Simulator. I'm trying to dress like a white bro that sells Adderall at college while I play drug dealing simulator. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I have like a list on my phone of just like I could be this character playing this simulator, you know?
Mhm.
So that's probably what's coming next.
Well, I guess I can yeah, I can ask you the same final question I do with everybody else. Have
Oh,
you ever have you ever thought about what you want your legacy to be?
what do I want my legacy to be? Dude, what do I want my legacy to be? No, I have no idea. I really don't, dude. I feel like I like came onto this interview and I was just like, I have to answer these questions, you know? Like,
No.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like I kind of just fucking winging it for the most part, you know. I have a lot of interests and I'm just kind of like going towards what I want to do. I'm trying to like instead I don't really have like a 5-year plan. I don't have a grand vision for myself at all. Um I s- spend most of my time now to prevent anxiety and to prevent depression, I spend most of my time trying to just ground myself in the moment that I'm in and in what position I'm in, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like I don't have like a grand vision of like, oh, I want to be like this kind of content creator that has this much of this or this many followers here or there on this platform, like at all. Like my goals are very, very short term. My goals are very just like, oh, I made that video before, so let's make the next part. I'm truly just like I want to do what I want to do in the moment and keep what I have in motion going. That's really like legacy. I don't know. Funny fat guy. I don't know. What is, you know what I mean? Like legacy is so that's really just like that's intense and dramatic and I don't know. I want to do what I want to do and I want to grow my own herbs, you know. And I want to feed stray cats. I really do. I'm like that's it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Also,
this is fun.
yeah. Okay. Was it good?
No, you're really fun.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm probably gonna watch this back and be like, okay, you know, but I'll watch it. I'll give you the view, don't worry.
Okay.
Thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate it.